at the beginning or at the end?
What's your pleasure?
I think let's do it at the beginning.
Okay. Yeah, who's going to meet with you after the meeting?
Yeah, I think I'm
The
scheduled
mayor.
at 1.
The mayor will
Good to see you, Val.
probably come over.
Yeah, me too.
You too?
Yeah, I don't know what.
You finally get lunch.
Okay, are we ready? All right, we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everyone. Welcome to the November 7th meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. My name is Shelley Bueller, and I have the privilege of serving as chair of the commission alongside Commissioner Bob Archer and Commissioner Kevin Cook.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And Madam Clerk, before we begin, we do have a couple of guests from Go Topeka, and if you could come forward and introduce yourselves. I know that the commission is meeting with at least one or two of you later on today to get better acquainted, but just come up to the podium and that will work. Yep.
Good morning, everyone. I'm
Morning.
Glenda Washington, and I've been with Go Topeka for a month now. I am learning my way around. My responsibility is to work with small, minority, and women-owned businesses. And so I'll be working with you in the community to make sure that we address some of the concerns of the small businesses, and hopefully we can deliver some successful products for the community. So thank you for having me here this morning.
Glenda, you get to go to your first JADO meeting this evening, correct? Okay, very good.
That's right. I've been doing a little preparation for that. I'm Scott Smathers. I'm also been here 1 month.
Okay.
Spent about 20 years in retail site consulting, and then spent the last 10 years in Denison, Texas, working in economic development. So we're excited to be here, a lot of possibilities, and looking forward to working with you all.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here this morning, and we'll meet you later on this afternoon and then this evening as well, so a full day. Madam Clerk, the first item, please.
Unfinished business, number 1, consider approval of Home Rule Resolution number HR 2013-6, removing item A6 from HR 2011-9, which states, during December, all departments must pay invoices via direct pay, providing all other applicable criteria is followed.
Okay, and Commissioners, this is a second reading of the Home Rule Resolution. Are there questions or public comment at this time? Not, I'll move to adopt the resolution. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Consent agenda?
Are there questions on the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. There's a motion by Commissioner Cook,
Second.
second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
New business, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Madam Chair, this morning we have one set of vouchers dated November the 6th, 2013, in the total amount of $552,494.89. My questions have all been answered by the appropriate personnel, and so I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers as presented.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion by Commissioner Archer,
I would second.
second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
There are no correction orders. Number 3, consider approval of resolution number 2013-172, authorizing the county clerk to cancel 1 check and reissue 2 checks.
They really wanted 2 checks, one for $1 and one for $7.75, correct?
Correct?
Interesting. Pay cash. Yeah. Are there questions on the request? On the resolution, I'm sorry.
Move to approve the check to Omaha, Nebraska for their check of $1 and their check of $7.75.
Thank you, Commissioner Cook. Is there a second?
I'll laughingly second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item B, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider approval to solicit request for quotation for 12 one-yard rear loader containers, 12 4-yard rear loader 6-yard slant containers and 5 8-yard slant containers at an estimated expenditure of $25,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. This item is a solid waste request. We are in need of increasing our inventory of these commercial type containers. We were requesting to go out for bids to request, to get prices for them and come back to you for approval. This cost would be funded through the solid waste fund, again, which is a enterprise fund or a user fee based fund, so no tax monies would be used to make the purchase of these containers once we receive the bids. So if there's any questions regarding this, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Thank you, Tom. Any questions? I'll move approval of the request.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Number 2, consider sole source purchase for replacement parts for a metal fabrication machine in an amount of $5,724 and a sole source purchase of 800 lids for the 95-gallon trash containers in an amount of $8,300.
Commissioners, Tom Block again, Public Works Solid Waste. This first item is actually a piece of equipment that's utilized by both the Public Works Departments and the Solid Waste Departments. It's called the Metal Fabrication Center piece of equipment. And what it is used to form, we use sheet metal to do repairs to vehicles, containers, and things of that nature. And it is a piece of equipment that we've had for some time that is utilized to form the shapes, or the sheets of metal into the shapes that we need to do the repairs. And we are in need of some replacement parts, and the parts will total $5,724.39. It is a sole source because the parts need to come from the company that manufactured the piece of equipment. And since the machine is utilized by both Public Works and Solid Waste, the cost of this request would be split 50% on each, so it'd be $2,862.20, essentially from both departments. So if there's any questions regarding this, I'm happy to try to answer them.
Are there questions on this request?
Oh, I'm sorry,
And
that's the
there's
one
actually
request. Yeah,
two.
and the second request is a request just to buy lids for our 95-gallon trash containers. As you recall, when we implemented the curbside recycling program, we purchased containers that could be interchanged between refuse and recycling, just depending on the lid that we put on top of it. We are getting low on our black lids, which is utilized for our trash, and this is what this request for is to purchase 800 lids at a cost of $8,300. This would be funded from the Solid Waste Department. Again, no tax monies would be used because it's a user fee based fund. So if there's any questions on either of these two, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Thank you, Tom. Other questions?
No. Madam Chair, I'd move to approve the sole source expenditures for solid waste.
There's a motion by Commissioner Cook,
And I'll second.
second by Commissioner Archer. Further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Tom.
Item C, Human Resources. Number 1, consider layoffs, deactivations, and reclassifications of position control members, PCNs.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Tuttle, Human Resources. Before you is a memorandum split into 3 different sections. The first section is the layoff of currently filled positions. There are 15 positions on that list. Some of those folks will have bumping rights through the union contracts. The Home Care Assistance Program will be closed as soon as it's feasible. And also included in the memorandum is a severance package for employees actually laid off. The amount of $500 per complete year of service, with a minimum of $500 and a maximum of $5,000. Second section is a deactivation of vacant PCNs. There's 19.75 FTEs in that section. They're all in the Parks and Recreation Department. And the last section are the reclassification of 3 PCNs within the Parks and Recreation Department. If you have any other questions, I'd be more than happy to try to answer those for you.
Jonathan, the anticipated savings with all these actions?
With all these, and the currently filled positions, employees being laid off, with benefits estimated is about $677,000. And the deactivations, about $758,000, and the reclassifications, $309. Those are approximate costs.
Including
Or savings.
in there the severance as well as that?
No, the severance would be a cost to the county of an additional $40,000, depending on who gets laid off and when that happens. Some of the folks that will actually lay off other employees. I think the department, I've had discussions with several department heads, and we've been trying to work with them, trying to get employees placed, trying to hold positions open, see if we can do some of that kind of stuff. We're endeavoring to try to not lay as many people off as we can, try to find other positions within the county for them.
Okay, thank you. Allison, do you want to say anything at this time about the home health?
Morning, Allison Alejos, Health Agency. As Mr. Thummel stated, we are looking at the layoff of a health services team leader and 5 home health aides, which will ultimately result in the closure of the home care assistance program. Through that program, we are serving people in the community as well as in their homes. We have approximately 61 people that we see in their homes. We provide personal care and homemaking services, so we're providing baths, we're assisting with bathing and grooming, things of that nature. We also do light housekeeping, some grocery shopping, things like that. Our foot care clinics, we see approximately 145 people throughout the course of a year, and we have approximately 4 to 5 foot care clinics in a month. We will be working very hard to get our clients matched with other services. There's about 8 service providers in Shawnee County that do like services for home-based activities. Foot care clinics, we're trying to put together a resource list so that people can see what options may be available for them. But we do anticipate working very closely with those clients to get them placed. I've had conversations with Jayhawk Area Agency on Aging, and they are working with us to get our clients placed as well. So there's been lots of activity in that. It's a very, very hard decision for us to come forward with this recommendation, but right now we feel like it's the one that we need to do.
I know I've been approached by a number of those clients, and they're wondering how to get those services somewhere else in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And you reassured me that you all will be contacting all of those clients
Absolutely.
and working with them.
We have sent them letters to let them know that this would be on the agenda today for consideration so that they could call with their concerns. And we will be following up with an additional letter, and then, of course, working with those clients that we see in the home to help them get hooked up with other services.
Thank you. Any questions?
No.
You have one more person that would like to speak?
Yes, and sure. Any questions, though, of Allison?
No.
And at this time, if you can offer any public comment, just come up to the podium
Okay,
and
thank
state
you.
your name, and just direct your comments, please, to the commission.
Can I just go up there?
You can just make them
Yeah,
from there,
I
ma'am.
was gonna say.
Madam, you can just make them from there.
Right here,
She can
Mom.
just make them from there.
Right here. Good.
That is just fine.
State your name.
My name is Betty Fainborner, and I'm going to read because sometimes I can't quite remember everything. And I live in Auburn and have for 5 years. I am 89 years old, cannot walk alone, and rely on help. I can truly say the visit I had from my Lady Sue is very rewarding. I've always done anything, old age and parts of my body not function right, so now comes the time for a little assistance. I do not imagine what would happen if this department shuts down. I have lived through a depression and felt the effects as small as I was. I am trying to stay healthy since there's a reason I am living. I have to admit, a need Shawnee County Health Department is that I, for one, cannot afford the high prices that have been quoted to me. This is a much-needed department. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wanting to make comments, please come to the podium.
Morning, Commissioner. Commissioners. Mike
Morning.
Scribner, President Teamsters Local 696. This morning, 9 Teamster positions are being considered for layoffs. 5 home health aide positions who service 206 patients, like Betty, in the community. 1 office assistant, 3 parks and rec positions. Since the 2014 budget's been finalized, you've spent, and spent on items like radios, towers, tractors, computer programs, iPads, and flowers. The employees and taxpayers, your constituents, will bear the burden of your wasteful spending. It has to stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Anyone else? This is your opportunity to speak before action is taken on this item. It's the pleasure of the commission.
Madam Chair, this is not something that we do easily. This is not something that I think that any commissioner recognizes that will have an impact in the community, whether it's for the elderly, for the needy, or for our employees. But unfortunately, given the position that Shawnee County is in, I would ask the commission to adopt it at this time.
There's a motion by Commissioner Cook.
Sadly, I'll second.
There's a second by Commissioner Archer. I will not be voting in favor of this reclassification, deactivation, and layoff. In my opinion, we had other alternatives, which was early retirement, incentive plan, at a potential cost of $2.5 million. And long-term, I believe that was in the best interest of the county versus these actions today. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. No. Motion carries 2-1. Commissioner Bueller dissenting. Next item, please.
Item D, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval to award bid for the demolition of Crestview Pool to McPherson Wrecking for $69,900.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. This is a request to demolish the pool at Crestview and remove it and return the grounds to a location or condition that we can maintain it at a lot less expense. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
John, is this time sensitive? I mean, I know that you would probably do the work before winter time, but the pool is not going to be opened anytime soon.
The existing condition is an eyesore, an attraction. I don't know about time sensitive. The grass, the best time to plant grass seed is, according to my grandmother, any month that has an R in it. And this would be the best time to do many of those things. But can it wait? Sure, it can wait. I do want to identify that the funding source for this is the Building Maintenance Fund, which is funded by user fees, not mill levy tax dollars.
Thank you. Are there questions on this item? Commissioner Archer?
Is there anything to be gained, Madam Chair, by delaying?
I just
I mean,
think we would be
this is
better.
something, I apologize.
I just think we would be better along in the 2013 budget and preparations for 2014 budget. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do it at some point in time. It's just when. So,
Follow up, is there any option, I mean, we have to do this, we have to get the pool demolished and removed, and
At some point in time, it needs to come clear out. The options of repairing that pool have been discussed and
I
don't make any
understand that,
sense, so.
yeah, but the
it needs-
demolition and removal of everything, that's mandatory, we have to do that.
Yes, it has to
Okay.
come out sooner or later, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
just a motion to approve by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. Let me clarify, though, John, we've received no notice from the city that we must demolish this pool. There's nothing mandating us that we must demolish
We've
this.
received no notice from the city.
Okay, I just wanted to get that for the record, okay. All those in favor of the motion say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Number 2, consider approval to award bids for improvements to Holiday Park, 1200 Southwest Western Avenue, $22,900 for brick sidewalks, $3,150 for irrigation system, $7,999 to $9,904 for fencing, $5,500 for electrical, and $8,400 to $11,800 for stone curbing.
Commissioners, this item's been before you on several occasions. This item initially came before you with the recommendation of Parks and Recreation to do some of the things that are listed on the agenda this morning. Also, we came back down and asked for permission to go out and solicit formal bids on some of these. The last commission meeting that this was on, the commission asked for us to go out and get bids and come back to you with several options. That's what you have in front of you this morning. Be happy to answer any questions you may have. We also have several people from the Holiday Park Neighborhood Improvement Association here, as well as Terry Bertles, the park director, who can explain some of this in more detail if you request. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Thanks, John. Is there anyone, Commissioner Cook, did you have something?
Yes, I do, please. Thank you, Madam Chair. John, just for a little bit of history for those that are with us, 2 years ago, the Parks and Rec had their merger with the city.
Correct.
And a year ago, the maintenance of the circle was identified as being in need of repair, given that it had no irrigation and it was constantly being hit by traffic.
I would say that that was longer than 2 years. That's been going on for many years, but I was involved at the beginning 2 years ago, saying that we're just pouring good money after bad by keeping and replacing the circle that was in the middle of the street.
And then in March, the Parks and Rec Department came in and removed the stone circle bricks.
Correct.
And the ground was leveled,
Mhm.
and it was a weed patch throughout the spring and the summer.
Yes.
And then the city came in and did some pavement work around the circle when they were doing the street repairs.
Correct.
And so we're now at a point to where we either do something or don't do something for the park.
Correct.
And the circle has historic significance with the park, given the founding with Cyrus Holiday and the founder of our city, right? There is significance.
I have heard that story. I don't know that to be a fact, but I believe the stories I hear on that.
Okay. And the NIA, the Holiday Park NIA, they have actively worked with the park, getting the fencing and the lighting and many of the improvements that are there now.
Yeah, we've had great relationship with this NII.
And they've worked with gardening and taking care of some of our flowers and beautification projects.
Yes.
And so if we were to do half of the project with the curbing, the irrigation, and the bricks, but holding off on the lighting and the fencing, would the NIA be able to work with maybe an improvement grant or working on partnerships with corporations such as Blue Cross Blue Shield, which has helped in the past? Would that be possible or feasible?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, if you remember, that was part of our original proposal.
And that's been discussed with the Neighborhood Improvement Association?
I haven't had those discussions, but I believe either Terry Bertles or Bill Rippon have, and Bill is here as well too, and he would gladly lend whatever expertise he has in this area of helping them get an empowerment grant.
Okay. And that was all discussed during our work session?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
so just to kind of bring us up to speed?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any further questions of John? Anyone wanting to speak on this item, just come up to the podium, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Tom Bartlett. I've been a longtime resident of Holiday Park since 1994. I live right across the street from the park on Western Avenue, and we have always had a very active and involved neighborhood association. Many members of our community are very much into preservation of old houses. I'd like to point out that our neighborhood is on the National Historic Registry of Historic Places. And so we've been very involved over the years in trying to maintain the park, promoting preservation and restoration of the old homes and the character and heritage there. We were very disappointed when our traffic circle was removed without discussion because it is a historic part of the park. And we normally have an excellent working relationship with the city and parks. We work with the city on a number of projects, including when I first came there, the park had no fence, no lighting, no fountain, and old playground equipment. And over the years, we'd fundraised put in the lights, put in the fencing, put in the fountain. And so I think you can see also that the neighborhood has vastly improved as a result of that, and many old homes have been restored. So what we would like, in our discussions, the city presented us with a very unique design, and we support that design that they provided us with. But if that's not possible, then we would like to have that circle returned. Parks and Rec has always done a beautiful job of maintaining that and planting that throughout the years. I understand that it's been hit periodically. I wouldn't use the term constantly, but I would say there's also other areas that have also been hit as well in the neighborhood on the northwest corner of, at the intersection there of 12th and Western. There's a tree that gets regularly hit too. But so I would like to urge the commission to consider either one of the two options, either supporting the new design, which we really liked, or returning the former circle to its original shape and location there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes.
If the commission does not fund the entire proposal today, if we were to leave off the fencing and the lighting for, at this time, would the NIA be able to or interested in working to see if they might qualify for grants or working with Blue Cross Blue Shield or other corporate partners in fundraising like they have in the past?
I think we would be willing, absolutely, to work in any way with, and we've done that in the past, and we've demonstrated that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Mara Dingman, also from Holiday Park. We live in the 1100 block of Taylor. And Tom said it all beautifully. I guess in preparation for this morning, I'll be honest, I felt this is going to be extremely awkward at a time when all these cuts are being put in place. It's really difficult. And except to say that, you know, for the last 2 years, we've watched the circle go from a pile of bricks. Sometimes the bricks would end up in the street, literally, and neighbors would have to pick them up and put them back. We've had weeds. We've had all this disrepair in different forms. Right now, it's like half a circle with some asphalt on top of weeds, and it's unsightly. And for all that Tom described, all we've put into it, our heart and soul, we feel like we deserve some help. A lot of us have put properties that were worth less than $10,000 back on the tax rolls over time. We've improved the value of those properties by 400%, 500%, 600%. And lastly, just to say, you know, beautification is proven to make neighborhoods safer. There's always, for me, this underlying feeling that we do all this work and people hit the circle, they take the bricks. There's been a lot of that actually at different times, but the less we pay attention and the less we care, the less everybody else cares. And I Googled beautification makes cities safer, and the top things that came up were how to use parks to create safer neighborhoods. Here's how urban planners can make cities safer for women. Beautification for a safe city. It goes on. There's pages and pages of returns and real proven efforts that have made a difference, and we can testify to that in our own neighborhood. Our beautification and our caring has affected everything. So I guess at a time when we're laying people off from Parks and Rec, which I find extremely unfortunate and I'm very unhappy about, we also still have to carry forward our personal message about our old neighborhood. We're also a gateway neighborhood, in my opinion, to Topeka, and it just matters. It matters to us, and it matters to people who come to visit us. So, and we will just take the circle. We just want our circle back. It was donated by Cyrus K. Hollidy's wife originally, and it does have history, and it does have significance. It wasn't just meant to be a traffic median. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
I'm sure.
Yes,
I do have
Commissioner
one last question, maybe for Director John Knight. John, I know from some of our discussions earlier Leon Younger, who is our pros consultant, has been to Topeka. He's seen Holiday Park. I think you remarked to me that Holiday Park it's a classic urban park. And this is a park that would be part of our preservation on the master plan, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
And so as part of the master plan, this park would be identified as an example of a good urban classic park.
Correct.
Thank you. That's the questions that I had.
John, what part comes first? I mean, you have these broken out. What part comes first?
I recommend doing putting a circle back where it is not in the flow of traffic, moving that circle over and running irrigation to it so that we could realistically, I'm not saying that somebody still may not run into it, but I know the chances of them running into it when it's out of the traffic lanes would be a lot better, would keep me from having to continue to go back and repair any kind of damages. I would do the circle first, and for us to do a good job of planting and keeping that alive, we would like to go ahead and extend the irrigation while we had everything tore up. I think the next thing after that would be any type of sidewalks, whether we just put the base of the sidewalk down or we go ahead and put the brick sidewalk in that matches the rest of this, and then any kind of fencing and lighting would come later. I think I'm answering. Is that your question?
So the stone curbing, the 11,000.
Yeah, the city's also volunteered to, at one time, help us to not have the association or the county have to raise the funds for the stone curbing. They would help not only donate that, but also help us in some form of placing that concrete curbing.
In the dirt as well.
Yes.
Okay, but this isn't, I have a hard time following. So breaking out just the circle is not really an option? Or is it?
Yeah, any of that is an option. If I put back just a circle without the irrigation, it's going to limit the kind of plantings we put in there and take a lot more maintenance, which I no longer have, to go by and drag hoses to keep flowers alive, those type of things.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
At this time, I would move that we authorize expenditures not to exceed $37,850. That would be the brick sidewalks, the irrigation, and then the stone curbing, leaving off the fence and the electrical work to maybe see if the NIA can partner with that part of it. Also recognizing that number may be significantly less, given the city's indication that they might be able to help with the stone curbing as well as some of the dirt infill. So not to exceed $37,850.
So motion by Commissioner Cook. Is there a second? Commissioner Archer, do you have a comment?
I was just going to say that I can't help but see the relationship to this kind of spending, to the layoffs that we just approved, to be honest with you. We've got a pretty grandiose plan here to spend $23,000 for brick sidewalks, $12,000 for stone curbing. I just don't think the timing is right. Commissioner Cook has talked about essential and non-essential services and spending in the past. To me, this is not essential spending. I don't think we can afford it. So respectfully, Madam Chair, I'm going to vote no on the motion.
And Madam Chair, I would note that the funding from this comes from user fees, not from the general fund and meal levy.
Well, let's see if there's a second to the motion, first of all. Commissioner Cook's made a motion for expenditures not to exceed $37,850. At this time, is there a second? That motion dies for a lack of a second. So there's no action on this item at this time.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, John. Next item, please.
Administrative communications.
A reminder that we have a department head and elected officials meeting at 11 o'clock here in these chambers, and that we will not be in session on Monday in honor of Veterans Day. And there's a number of activities going on in our community, and encourage everybody to attend one of those. Tom, did you have something? Sorry, Commissioner.
Commissioners, Tom Blanc, Public Works and Solid Waste. With Monday being Veterans Day, the solid waste collection schedule will be altered for next week. Those customers who have normal Monday collection will be picked up on Tuesday. Those who have normal Tuesday collection will be moved to Wednesday, and those who have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday collection, there will be no change for those.
Okay. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Larry Moore, Shawnee County Treasurer. You probably know that it's been a long-standing practice in the Treasurer's Office to offer extended hours on the last business day of the month. We open at 7:30 and close at 5:30. I've studied this over the last 6 months, and what I find is those are the busiest days of the month for us. However, the customer traffic pattern tends to be that they come very early, and it's been my observation, by 3:30, 4 o'clock, our offices are pretty empty. So I'm going to continue that practice through November, but I'm anticipating that we'll discontinue those extended hours starting in December and going forward. We will open at 7:30 because we do get a large crowd early in the morning. But I found that even though, for instance, in August, where we processed over 700 people in those 2 offices during the day, by 3:30, 4 o'clock, we were pretty empty. So I don't think it's prudent to hold the office open for a few stragglers for an extra hour. I think that saves us about $8,000 on a given year. Now, I want to be clear that we don't kick anyone out of our office. If they are in queue for title work by 4 o'clock on any day, we stay until that's completed. And anyone walking in for just a simple renewal, if they're in the door by 4:30, we will process them. So we don't just close our door at 4:30 and tell everyone to go home. We stay and work until all the customers are taken care of. But what I don't want to do is to have the expenditure for that extra hour waiting for a straggler to come in. I'm going to do that, continue it through November. I've made the announcement today because I would like to have input from the public as well as the commissioners. We have a couple of months here. If you feel strongly about this, I'm all ears. Convince me why I should have those extended hours, and I'll reconsider. But I think with the budgets the way they are, it makes sense not to do that. I've talked to the security folks. When we stay open late, there is a possibility we cause their overtime to go up as well, because they have to stay with us at least at the courthouse. I'm glad to answer the questions you have.
Sounds like a common sense solution. This would be at the courthouse and the annex?
Yes.
Both places?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioners, did
I've
you-
looked at it for 6 months now, and the pattern is early activity, and by early afternoon, we've become efficient enough that we've pretty well gotten all of our customers out of there, and we're looking for work.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Archer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to remind everyone that there is a meeting this afternoon at 5:30 of the Joint Economic Development Organization. It will be at City Council chambers, and I would encourage people to show up. It's been my experience that the more public input we have, either in commission meeting, a council meeting, or a JADO meeting, the better the decisions are that come out of that meeting. If you can't attend in person, you can always watch on the ever-popular Channel 4. So I encourage
Black
people
Friday.
to come tonight, make public comment. It's your tax dollars that we're talking about, and I wanted to make sure everybody was reminded of that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
And we're discussing economic development priorities going forward.
Exactly.
There will be another meeting in December to talk about contract and budget, all that sort of thing, so. All right, very good. Anyone else? And good morning, Councilwoman Hiller, how are you? Sure, you sure can.
I'm Karen Hiller, and I'm the city councilwoman for District 1, which includes historic Holiday Park. I need to direct my comments particularly to my former colleague, Councilman Archer. I have a photo for you. This is what the circle at Holiday Park looks like today. It is much improved over when there was a gap in the street, which the city came and fixed. And it's much improved from when it was fully loaded with weeds because the season has ended. But this photo is the gateway to this neighborhood. You would never leave the gateway to your neighborhood looking like that indefinitely. I appreciate your procedures in terms of being able to get a second to the vote, but somehow this needs to be addressed. We look at what is a strategic investment in any neighborhood, and we make choices. I understand that. We do it on the city side as well. The discussion was held already today that this park is one of Topeka's gems and will stay in your long-term park plan, just as you discussed right before it that the Crestview Pool is coming out. If this is going to be here, then why leave this neighborhood with a hole? This, you can see in the photo, the streets are improved, the homes have been improved on either side of that park, it's full of trees. That is the gateway to their neighborhood that they have to look at every day. They're willing to just put the circle back. It wasn't perhaps made clear today, but the plan and this neighborhood group has met with city and county staff, your staff, at least 5 times, maybe 7, to work out how this would work. The beautiful plan for the eventual park that would have the sidewalks all the way up to the point and the fences is combined, is a long-term plan. We're putting that circle back in what Mr. Knight described as the new location for it would hook together. It's not a waste of money. It's not a temporary fix. Fixing that circle in its new location, just slightly moved from where it was before, would be a permanent installation that then could be enhanced when time and money was available. I urge you to reconsider that motion today or sometime soon and put this neighborhood back on the charts. It is deadly. Drive by it if you haven't. I urge you to act, and act soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else for administrative communications? Next item, please.
Executive session?
Is there a need? Acquisition of real estate for a period not to exceed 10 minutes. Is that long enough? 15? 15 minutes. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Any action anticipated, Mr. Eckert?
Hi, you stayed around? Good.
Ready? Okay. Oops, I grabbed my wrong piece of paper. We're back in session, no action required, we are adjourned.
We have anything to sign?
One day, we want to take out. I'm sorry.
Oh, this has been signed.
You'll get the scoop.